As you've heard this week, we have a big year ahead. We have our top leaders in the room, and you are going to be charged with leading those efforts. There are going to be new challenges which take resilience, innovation, and courage. And that's exactly why we brought the expert Sabrina Shafer, the much sought after speaker, who has spoken to industry giants like Intel, Amazon, Forbes, Dell, Cisco, and so many others. Sabrina is a behavior analyst, published author, attorney, and if that's not enough, the founder and CEO of a multi-million-dollar technology company. Behind her impressive achievements is a leader who learned to harness the power of fear and is the catalyst that started the Fear Forward movement. You are in for an incredible talk, so be prepared to see fear in a whole new light. I highly suggest you follow Sabrina on LinkedIn as she does terrifying things and posts about them. You can also learn more about Sabrina by going to sabrinashafer.com. So without further ado, please welcome to the stage, Sabrina Shafer.
All right, welcome, and thank you for having me. Thank you for coming. I gotta tell you, most people, when they hear behavior analyst, attorney, and they're going to talk about fear, they leave or they panic. So I'm glad you're still here, but you are panicked. Okay, you're panicking right now. Don't panic, it's gonna be all right. Maybe not for you, you're gonna hate it. It's gonna be terrible for you, but we're gonna make it through. We're gonna make it through. If it makes you feel any better, I do things that terrify me on purpose, and I have been for the last couple years. In fact, I signed up for a triathlon without knowing how to swim. Turns out you need to know that. I have sang in front of tens of thousands of people. Bombed, tell you about that later. I tried to conquer my fear of public failure, so I signed up for stand-up comedy and have failed and bombed in front of audiences for the last couple years, literally around our country. So really, today we are going to talk about what I now lovingly call Fear Forward. And we're going to talk about how you can use it to change your leadership and change your life. So where did it all start? A little context. I'm an immigrant. When we moved to this country, I was in grade school, and we were incredibly poor. We were on food stamps, and I was that kid, when you donate presents to a tree, I was the kid who got your presents. So thank you for that. But out of that, I became a perfectionist and a people pleaser and a high achiever. And don't get me wrong, I was incredibly successful before I started taking on fear. So it doesn't mean you have to take on fear to be successful. I know a lot of you in this room already are. I started college really, really early. I started a business that was wildly successful and incredibly meaningful to me. I then moved on to law school, graduated top of my class, and then later moved into an executive career in tech. So you certainly can be successful without taking on fear. But the thing is, I realized that fear was dictating everything I did or didn't do. Everything. I was scared of not showing up in a certain way. I was scared of sharing my opinions or certain experiences. And so, like any good millennial, I took out my phone and went to Instagram. No, I am a millennial. I did take out my phone, but I did not go to Instagram. But I did. I took out my phone and I went to my notes section, and I started typing all of the different things that terrified me. Turns out it was a lot, and I keep adding to it. And so then, like any good behavior analyst, I decided that I would have to start taking them on one by one by one. And so I started with my easiest one, my easiest fear. And I'm gonna tell you, it's so silly and trivial now. It's kind of embarrassing to tell you about it, but I'm going to anyway because I don't want you to stop yourself from taking on a fear just because it seems silly or trivial. I had this fear of not showing up to meetings in a certain way. So I took on the fear and I went to a meeting without makeup, wearing a hoodie, and a really important meeting. And the day of, the call's about to start, I'm sitting in front of my desk, I see the client is on the call, I jump on the call, and I turn on my camera. And he goes, no, he didn't do that at all. He didn't do that at all. You know what happened? Nothing happened. There was no aha moment, there was no light bulb moment, nothing. The call started, the call happened, and the call ended, and nothing. And you know what I realized? Sometimes what we think is so hard or scary actually isn't. And instead, sometimes the hardest part of fear is just starting. It's just showing up. And I gotta tell you, funny enough, I thought those were the two biggest lessons of that day, until about a week later. I was on with a huge client, and we had gone off and done our competitive analysis and our market research, and I was on to build out this huge strategy. And so the top executive jumps on the call, and almost immediately, you can tell something's off. And he goes, hey guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm not okay. My best friend's daughter just died. And I found myself caught up in this moment. Man, I could feel my whole heart break for him. This is probably one of the saddest things I think a parent could possibly go through. And now he's watching his best friend go through it, and he's in tears, and now I feel my eyes welling up. And I take a step back, and I realize I'm the only woman on the call. I'm the youngest person on the call. And oh, by the way, I'm supposed to be the strategist solving this big problem for my client. And so I thought to myself, I better turn off my camera. I want to be professional. This is embarrassing. Then I thought back to the last time I left my camera on. And I thought to myself, I do scary things now. Fear forward, right? And that's when I learned it's not about what other people think or what they see. And this is important for my overthinkers in the room. It's our job to show up as our best, most authentic self. And then it's their job to figure out what to do with it. So I left my camera on. I let them see me. Call went on, and we did solve that big problem. And then about an hour later, I got an email from the client. And he said, I have to thank you for showing your emotion and keeping your camera on, because I've got to tell you, I have never been so angry at the world and so heartbroken, and I needed you in that moment. I needed to know that there was some humanity, some purpose left in life, because this isn't fair. And you know what? I am so glad that they got to see me on that call. I am so glad that I didn't hide. And I'm so glad and a little bit scared, if I'm being honest, that I get to share this with you right now. Because the thing is, we're not meant to live without difficult times or not to be scared. Instead, we're supposed to show up and unite when they happen. See, that's authenticity. That's influence. That's leadership. And then I got this little voice in the back of my head that said, boy, we should share this with other people. This is a big lesson for me and probably for other people. It's pretty incredible what can happen when you show up as your best, most authentic self. But then I had this other voice that said, don't you dare, don't you do it. That's way too terrifying. But see, the thing is, there's another little fun fact about Fear Forward. If it scares you, you should do it. Let me say that again. If it scares you, you should do it. So, in true Fear Forward fashion, because I'm terrified of posting things online, I posted his email on LinkedIn next to this picture. Oh yeah, it's not better on the big screen either. You want to talk about terrifying? Who's familiar with LinkedIn? Yeah. Just a couple 100,000 of my closest colleagues, clients, and friends. And I haven't checked recently, but the last time I checked, hundreds of thousands of people have seen me cry. Seen me ugly cry. And that's different. Okay, you can definitely take that down now. Here's the thing. This is one of the scariest things I have ever done. Scarier than running a marathon when I didn't even know if I could finish a mile. Scarier than any bomb that I've ever done, whether posting about an unconscious bias or a failure. Literally scarier than building a business during a pandemic, a supply chain shortage, and an election. Why? Because this was my most authentic self. This is when I realized this is my best, most authentic self. And that silly, trivial first Fear Forward, and every Fear Forward since then has gotten me to this and to this. And this is when I realized that Fear Forward is not about getting good at being bad. It's about getting good at being scared and showing up anyway. It's about getting good at learning from everything. Funny how the same thing could be said about leadership, isn't it? So meanwhile, because posting is terrifying for me, I continue to post scary things that I was doing. And my following kept growing. And this is the part where I said Fear Forward drastically changed my life. I get to public speak, like I'm with you right now, travel the world. I've had book deals. In fact, they just called. They want to do another book, which is wild to me. I've had some incredible friendships and opportunities. In fact, I remember the first time the CTO of a Fortune 50 company called me and said, "Can we get lunch? I've been watching some of your stuff and we've got to talk. I'd love to be friends. I'd love to talk with you." I'm looking at the phone like, what? Who is it? Is this a wrong number? Is this a prank call? I just do scary things. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest benefits of Fear Forward is it gave me a powerful sense of self. And you're gonna need it, because there's gonna be some fails too. Man, have I had some big fails. I remember the first time I was invited by this multi-billion-dollar company. I think they do like 60 or 80 billion a year. And I'm on my book tour, and I'm invited to speak. And I was so nervous, I didn't get on the stage. I did my speech from down there. I did. But it doesn't matter about the success. It's not success forward. It doesn't matter about the fail. It's not fail forward. It's just fear. The art of fear forward is just fear forward. Don't hide the good. Don't hide the bad. Just show up completely. And here's the thing. What scares you most will change your life. And it really does get better. I made it up on stage today, so we're already winning. Worked out for both of us, didn't it? So remember at the beginning when I said we're going to talk about fear, and then you're going to get to do something scary? We talked about fear. Here we are. You signed up for this. I want you to take out your phone. And I want you to go to Instagram. No, don't go to Instagram. Don't go to Instagram. But I do want you to take out your phone. And I want you to take out your notes section where you take notes. Start a new note, and I want you to title it Fear Forward. And I'm going to give you a few seconds. I want you to start writing things that scare you or that terrify you, as big or as little as comes to mind. It can be silly, it can be trivial, it can be embarrassing. Maybe it's a conversation that you know you need to have with your partner. Maybe it's a conversation with a colleague that you've been meaning to have, but you keep putting it off. Maybe it's an apology that you owe someone. You just don't want to give them the upper hand. Whatever it is, take a minute, write it down. Okay, I'm seeing some heads pop up. But I encourage you to keep this list. Keep writing as things scare you throughout your day. If something goes, ooh, that little voice in your head, I should do this, and you go, oh, no. That's way too scary. I'm not doing that. Write it down. Write it down. Add it to this list. Okay. Now, I want you to look at the list you just made, and I want you to pick the easiest fear forward. Think back to mine. It was so easy, right? Kind of silly, trivial, embarrassing. Find something little. And I want you to pick it right now. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. Okay. You got it? Good. You got it? Okay. And now, I want you to think of someone that you trust. Someone that you can say, I'm really terrified to do this, and I need your help. Because, by the way, for a lot of us, admitting that we're scared and asking for help are probably two giant fear forwards. So we're going to do it together. Now I want you to text that person, and we're all going to text the same thing. And by the way, if you're not sure who to text, I say this in all of my talks, you're welcome to tag me or send it to me, and it will always be me responding, because I believe in this. What scares you most will change your life. And if this doesn't change your life, nothing will. So we're going to write exactly this. Are you ready? I'm terrified to do this, and fill in your this. What's your little fear forward that you picked today? I'm terrified to do this. Will you help me? And we're going to send it on 3. You ready? I see you typing. Got some fast typers in here. Good. I'm terrified to do this. Will you help me? Okay, we're going to send it. 1, 2, 3. Did you send it? Good, good. Why is this important? By the way, there's a lot of science behind this. Because sometimes the hardest part is just showing up, terrified and all. So, you're already on your fear-forward journey. You already did it. And I couldn't be more excited for you. Because again, if this doesn't change your life, nothing will. And you're being asked to lead some giant businesses. And you're gonna have to do some scary stuff. So you better get pretty good at fearing forward. And so with that, I hope each and every one of you bomb. I mean that in the nicest way. Because what scares you most will change your life. And fortunately, fear forward's kind of easy. Don't hide the good. Don't hide the bad. Just show up completely, terrified and all. Thank you.